كلمة ومداخلة من السيد أحمد كمال محمد من شركة مازون للحديث عن أليكسا، فليتفضل مشكورا.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Jamal Hashmi. Me and my colleague Ahmed are going to do a presentation jointly. Part of it is going to be in English and part of it is going to be in Arabic. So please excuse for the English part of it a little bit. Thank you. We want to show you, there have been a lot of conversation about what kind of things are already available or what kind of a work is being done here in some of the technology areas locally. We also wanted to show you what are some of the things that are coming up globally in terms of the capabilities, because AI and the services around AI is increasing every day. So there's going to be more and more services that you can pretty much automate, and that has a very, very big implication, especially for the elderly population. Because as we all know, elderly are some of the most challenged population to take to a hospital. They are much more comfortable socially, mentally, psychologically, at home, with family members, with family and friends around them, without the risk of higher infections around them at home. And this population is one of the fastest growing in the GCC globally. Okay? So although we have got a fairly young population right now, that population is significantly going into an age demographic over the next 10, 20, 30 years. That is going to be a very significant impact in terms of how we offer services, how we offer care, how we take care of people while saving them from a lot of those complications in terms of a hospital care. You know, most of the people do not need hospitalization. 85% of the diseases do not require hospitalization. Preventive care, preemptive care can save a lot of complications, especially in elderly. You know, even if I can monitor if their heart rate has changed or their oxygen level has changed or suddenly they're coughing more, that's something that you can preemptively use generative AI services to trigger alerts through monitoring and take preemptive measures to avoid complications that can result into more serious situations for them. So that's where some of these services are very important, where they have an impact on the budgets, they have an impact on family life, they have an impact on longevity for all the elderly people, inshallah. When you look at these things, some of the people have got a lot of challenges if you want to take them to hospital. We absolutely want to avoid hospitals for elderly people. We want them in the comfort of home, around family members, kids, children, grandchildren, to be able to take care of them, because that keeps them mentally supported in terms of their abilities and services. It also helps them to take care of the risk of infections, because that risk increases significantly if you take them even to the best of the hospitals. So that's where these becomes very important. When you look at these services today, technology allows you a lot more options than what we even had 2 years ago. You have got wearable devices, you've got smart watches, you've got on-body devices, you've got off-body devices that can monitor a lot of the readings preemptively. So for example, some elderly has got a pneumonia, got hospitalized, came back home, you still need to monitor their oxygen level, if they are okay or no. If at the night they are sleeping, suddenly the oxygen drops, the generative AI services can monitor it and automatically trigger emergency services, teleconsultation, or family members to say, go please check your mom's bedroom because the mom suddenly had an oxygen drop in that situation. So that's where you can really use these services to save complications. If this happens with a lot of elderly, that they wake up for Fajr and then they go to the bathroom, or sometimes they fall in the bathroom, or they've got suddenly a fall and nobody knows because nobody else is awake. So if they're wearing a device that is just keeping an alert on, if they fall down and suddenly the reading change, it triggered an alert. If nobody picked up, it calls them back. or calls emergency services, you can significantly save a complication for these people, inshallah. Okay? So these kind of services is where it becomes very important what some of the work that was talked earlier, LIM and other services and preventive services and social services department work, where you can take a lot of these services, integrate the data, and put them with wearable devices to have a real-time monitoring of reading, especially for elderly, especially when you are at office, when your kids are at school and they are alone at home, in the room, somebody is monitoring them. There are also devices where you can use those services to make sure that they are getting certain services, but also the kids can monitor the apps through apps for if the kid is in US or in Europe, they can say, Mom, have you taken a medication? And devices like Alexa and others can use to send them reminders, have they taken medication? Have you done this? And it can also be a companion to give them answers to things or play the azans or play the different services for them so that they have got an interaction model even in the daytime when the kids are away out of home. These services become very important for their cognitive availability and for their services availability in terms of those. You can also send them reminders where devices can talk to them, hey, Mom, have you taken a medicine? Or this is your time for exercise, or you need to go outside to the garden and walk. These services become very important for their support services, even when kids are not at home during daytime. These are very, very important because increasingly time is of essence on these things. So when you look at these things, there's a lot of services and a lot of devices that you have got now available that can monitor things at home in the convenience of your own space, within your privacy, and in a very secure way to monitor elderly, especially for preventive care. Because an elderly, I don't want to take them to a hospital for care. I would prefer to have them at home for those care services thing. And there are many services that are available today. And every month, every quarter, we are seeing new services, new devices, new capabilities coming in to help where you can do more and more of these services more effectively at home. So these services become quite important from that point of view. I'll pass it on to my colleague, Ahmed, to conclude this topic.
السلام عليكم. Thank you جمال. أنا اسمي أحمد كامل من شركة NTS بارتنر لشركة أمازون AWS. عايز أبتدي كلامي بتقرير صدر من منظمة الصحة العالمية WHO بتقول إن بحلول سنة 2030 هيبقى في شورتج في الميديكال ستاف برقم مخيف 18 مليون ميديكال ستاف. الرقم دوت معناه ان من خلال بعد حوالي 5 سنوات هيبقى عندنا مشكله فيما يتعلق بالميديكال ستاف اللي محتاجينهم عشان يكفروا اي حد محتاج. في NTS احنا حاولنا نتعامل مع المشكله ديت من خلال ادخال تطبيقات الذكاء الاصطناعي في المجال الصحي والمجال الرعاية الاجتماعية. أكبر 2 challenges بيقابلوا كبار السن هو المجال الرعاية الصحية وإزاي نحاول ندمجهم في المجتمع كأفراد عاملة نقدر نستفيد بخدماتهم ونقلل بعدهم عن المجتمع. بالنسبة للمجالات الصحية ال AI is no longer something nice to have أو luxury to have. احنا في NTS مع امازون believe it's a must. عندنا اكتر من تطبيق بيتم التعامل معاه على المستوى الرعايه الصحيه لكبار السن. بنعمل full monitor 24/7 للحاله الصحيه لكبير السن without the need of any personal interference. مش محتاجين يبقى فيه caregiver، مش محتاجين يبقى فيه طبيب، كل اللي محتاجينه نتعامل مع تطبيقات الذكاء الاصطناعي اللي بتنزل على تليفون كبير السن، وهذه التطبيقات بتقدر ان هي تعمل مونيتورنج كامل للقراءات الحيويه للحاله الصحيه لكبير السن على مدار الساعه 24/7. حتى اثناء النوم عندنا تطبيقات ذكاء اصطناعي بتقيس قد ايه النوم ده سليم صحي، هل لا قدر الله حصل مشكله، ولو حصلت مشكله بيبقى فيه اجراء احترازي بيتم تعامل بشكل فوري مع المشكله اللي حصلت، بان احنا بيتم ارسال نوتيفيكيشنز للكير جيفر، للابن، للبنت، للمؤسسه الصحيه اللي بتعالج مريض السن immediately. الميزه كمان في التطبيقات الذكاء الاصطناعي هي عدم انتظار حدوث المشكله. يعني غير ان احنا بنعمل monitoring 24/7، احنا كمان بنعمل some sort of prediction او تطبيقات احترازيه. فلو القراءات اللي بناخدها بشكل دوري من كبير السن تدل ان هو خلال فتره زمنيه قريبه معرض ان هو يحصل له مشكله صحيه، نفس الاجراء الاحترازي بيحصل بشكل فوري، وبيتم التعامل مع المستشفى او الجهه الصحيه اللي بتعالج او بترعى مريض كبير السن، ويبتدي يتم اعلامهم ان هناك احتماليه لحدوث مشكله صحيه خلال فتره زمنيه معينه. ومش بس كده، تطبيقات الذكاء الاصطناعي بتقترح ايه اللي المفروض يحصل عشان نتجنب حدوث مشكله لكبير السن. الجزئيه الثانيه اللي بنهتم فيها في NTS هو المجال الاجتماعي، وازاي نقدر ندمج كبير السن في المجتمع. عندنا اكتر من AI application او تطبيقات الذكاء الاصطناعي اللي بتدمج كبير السن في المجتمع من خلال اي مشاركه اجتماعيه بيتم ادماجه فيها، وبيجي له اشعارات بيها خاصه الحاجات المناسبه لخبراته او المجالات اللي هو اظهر اهتمام من خلالها. اخر نقطه عشان الوقت ما يسرقناش ونسيب مجال بقيه البرنامج، الريكومنديشنز او الاقتراحات من عندنا. احنا بنقترح ان يبقى فيه بروجرام كامل على مستوى الاماره يتم فيه تطبيق البرامج الذكاء الاصطناعي، وعلى مراحل. نفترض ان هنختار احد المراكز الصحيه اللي من خلالها يبتدي تطبيق برامج الذكاء الاصطناعي على كبير السن لفتره زمنيه معينه، ويتم استخراج تقرير بنتائج هذه المرحله، ويتم تعميمها بشكل دوري على جميع مراكز علاج او رعايه كبار السن. الموضوع دوت ممكن خلال فتره زمنيه قصيره جدا يجعل الاماره في مكان مختلف فيما يتعلق بالرعايه الخاصه بكبار السن. تاني اللي عايز انهي بيه كلمتي ان تطبيقات الذكاء الاصطناعي it's no longer luxury to have, it's not nice to have, it's a must. شكرا.